joining us this evening to ensure that the South Asian media has an opportunity to engage with Ed Romaine, who is running for Suffolk County Executive. Ed wanted to ensure that he could answer the questions of our community and provide them with why he believes that he will be the best candidate for that seat. And we are looking forward to supporting him on November 7th. We also have our Honorable District Attorney Raymond Tierney of Suffolk County, who has been a great friend to our South Asian community. We are going to allow the media to ask questions that they think are pertinent to the community and the upcoming race. And again, we would sincerely thank you for keeping it topical to this particular race. Thank you.
As I said before, my name is Ed Romaine. I'm currently the supervisor of Brookhaven Town and have served in that position for 11 years. But I've been in public office, elective office, for the 38 years. I've served as this county's county clerk for 16 years and as a county legislator for 11 years and as supervisor for another 11 years. So I know a little bit about local government. I know how it works. I think the major issues in this race are very simple. Public safety, making sure that our public is safe, making sure that we put an end to some of the crimes that are happening in this, and this is why I have a great partner in our district attorney. And the other issue is affordability, trying to keep this county affordable so people don't say, you know what, I don't know if I can afford to continue to live on Long Island and I'm going to leave. So we want to keep the county affordable and we want to keep it safe. There's a lot of other issues out there that are far more specific, but I'm going to turn it over to the gentlemen of the press and allow them to ask either myself or our district attorney any questions. The district attorney, by way of introduction, is a professional prosecutor that's not registered with any party. And he won because people could see that this man would do exactly what he has said he would do, which is to bring justice to Suffolk County. Long cases, long forgotten, like the Gilgo murder case, he was able to resolve, and he is going to bring that case to a conclusion. We need people that have a concern about justice. When you think about many of the things in this life, the one thing you want to have some guarantee of, that there's some form of justice. And this is the man that provides it for our county and does an excellent job in doing that. He goes after the bad guys and he makes sure that the good guys are not hurt. So with that, it's maybe a good time to open up to some specific questions about the campaign or about the district attorney's office.
Yeah. So it's very general perception that Democrats, they are in the favor of immigrants, but the Republicans, they are not. Like they have like little hard policies regarding immigrants. So Democrats always take advantage of this thing and they appeal the immigrants, vote for us, we're gonna make easy legislation for you guys, and then you're gonna, a lot of like Asian people, they have a lot of issues like with immigrants. So how you react with this?
Well, look, the response to that is we're a nation of immigrants. Other than Native Americans, somewhere along the line, at some point, we came from somewhere else, okay? I would suspect Ray, people somewhere along the line came from Ireland. I'm half Irish, but I have a little Danish in me, a little French in me. So we all came from different places. We're a nation of immigrants. We succeed as a country by making sure that we all work together. The one issue that's controversial today is the fact that we have open borders with our southern border. Not with our northern border, not with our neighbor to the north, Canada, but with our neighbor to the south. And that's a concern because there isn't enough places for these people to stay or be integrated into society. We don't have a thoughtful immigration policy where people can come into our country and then be integrated into society. Because when you have 10,000 people a week crossing a border, which, by the way, is where most of our major drugs come from, like fentanyl, or we have human trafficking, or we have other situations. Right now, they had mostly been in the Southwest, but many of our southwestern states are sending them to northern cities that are sanctuary cities. We now have about 110,000 migrants in the city, and it's breaking the back of the city because they can't provide the resources for them.
Yes.
An intelligent immigration policy incorporates people into a society and gives them every chance to success, to succeed, to start their business here, to start their lives here, not leave them sleeping on city streets. If that answers your question.
And I think my frustration is, as a prosecutor, I was once a federal prosecutor. I'm now the district attorney of Suffolk County. But immigration, that's a federal crime. That's a federal issue. Those are federal issues that I have no jurisdiction over. So I am obligated to protect all the citizens of Suffolk County. And by citizens of Suffolk County, we mean residents of Suffolk County, people who live in Suffolk County, regardless of immigration status, and that's what we do. I think the frustration lies, as Ed was saying, in that our federal immigration policy is incoherent and ineffective, and that creates problems wherein we have on our western border, we have drugs, human trafficking flooding in, and these are affecting our communities here in Suffolk County. As district attorney, we have to address that, but the underlying immigration issues, we have nothing to do.
Right, that's a federal issue, but if you have an intelligent immigration policy, you want people to come to this country, but you want them to come orderly, and you want to be able to incorporate them and provide them the services that they need to help them get started in this country, which we're not doing as successfully as we should.
Ed, the
Yes.
demographic of Suffolk County are fast changing. It's still a predominantly white county. If I'm not wrong, about 65 to 70% of the population is still white. The 30% is minority Hispanic, followed by blacks and the other communities. In your plan, if you become a county executive, would you make sure that the other communities are represented, especially law enforcement departments? And my follow-up question is to DA, that he has been a DA for a while in the county. Is he making any efforts to represent the other communities into his department? Thank you.
Let me answer your question by saying, I'm running to be county executive of all of Suffolk County, not some of Suffolk County, which means you reach out to all the different communities within the county. We have, as the motto of the United States, from Latin, e pluribus unum, for many, one. And when you forget that, you make a mistake. As county executive, I've said, like Nassau County, unlike Suffolk currently, we will have a South Asian office that will be staffed, not an advisory board, a full staff office where people can go. We will have a full staff office for the Hispanics. Why? Because Hispanics and South Asians are one of the fastest growing minorities in this county. They have to be represented, their voice has to be heard, and their community has to know that there's someone in county government that can pick up the phone, speak their language, understand their customs, and ask questions and get help. Particularly businesses, small businesses that are starting in this county. One of my goals right now, we don't do enough for small businesses. In our economic development department, I want to have a small business development center where we have people that can work and sit with someone. Hey, I'm thinking about starting a business. Come on in, let me see your business plan. Let me help you connect you with banks that can get you financing. Those type of things. or I'm having a problem getting a permit or getting a license. Can you help me with that? That type of thing. But yes, we have to reach out to all communities. One of the reasons we're having the press today is to reach out to the South Asian community in the county of Suffolk so they know that we're running, what we stand for, and that the members of the press that represent them can ask us questions like you just asked. But yes, I want to be involved. I want to be involved with all communities, because when you're county executive, if you don't do that, you fail in your mission. You fail in your mission to be a representative of all the people. I don't know if that answered your question.
Mr. Romaine, I'm sorry.
Ray has.
I've been,
Majib sir?
No.
Ray has a follow-up question.
Okay, please.
What his department is
Okay,
doing so
okay.
far.
Sure,
You
you know,
got-
just,
Thank
you know, as Ed touched upon, you know, I had never run for office before. I wasn't a member, still am not, a member of a political party. And so when I ran for office, I went out to all the communities from you know, Babylon and Huntington to East Hampton, and very diverse Suffolk County, but all the communities, they want the same thing. They're remarkably similar. In fact, their differences are minuscule in the main, you know, when you really look at it, and their interests are aligned. What do they want? They want to be kept safe. They want opportunity for themselves and their family. They want to be treated fairly, and they you know, they want their kids to have a good education, and you know, and people come to Suffolk County because they want safety and security for their family and a good quality of life, and that's across the board. So that's what we try to ensure in the DA's office, and we try to ensure that across the board to all the communities of Suffolk County, with regard to you know, our hiring. The diversity in our hiring has increased. I think traditionally it had been, you know, it had been poor. I think under my predecessor things changed a little bit. I think it's changing for the better. And you know, you could look at our classes coming in. We're having diverse classes. It's easier said than done, because what you have to do is you have to recruit into communities. And I'll give you an example. I was interviewing a young woman, and she had, do I have it? Oh yeah, right here. She had one of these on. And I said, did you get that at the BAPS temple? And she said, yes, you know, that's the temple I go to. So, you know, you know, we go into all the communities, and we recruit, and the same communities that we go to, we recruit out of. And we want to get great young people from all communities, and we want them to consider coming and working from us. When we go to Wyandanch and we talk to the valedictorian and the top scholars of Wyandanch High School or any other high school, we say, you're going to go on and do great things, and there's no question about that. But consider coming back to Long Island and working for us. And so, you know, that's what we do. And the main thing is, in addition to prosecution, you have to have that outreach. We go and we talk to our young people. We go out and we go to the mosques. When the incident happened in Ronkonkoma, you know, we were the first. The district attorneys were the first one to be there, to decry what happened, to say that we stand united against hate and Islamophobia. But that wasn't the first time we were at that temple. That wasn't the first time we met you know, the folks that were there that day, because we're out and we're active in the community. This January, we're going to have a job fair, and the job fair was born out of me going into communities again, and also me having 4 kids and realizing kids don't understand debt. Kids don't understand pensions. Kids don't understand opportunity, especially in underserved communities. So what we're going to do is we're going to have a job fair at Suffolk Community College, and we're going to invite all the kids from the communities to come in and say, look, these are opportunities you have in state, local, and federal governments, as well as the private sector. And these are jobs right here in your community that are available to you. So it's one thing to say you're gonna have a diverse, you're gonna seek diversity. It's another thing to do it. And the best way in which to do it is to go into the communities and to recruit directly out of our great Suffolk County communities.
So I just want to piggyback on that. I'm sorry, before we get to the next question, I did want to mention something that is imperative to that question. So our Honorable District Attorney does have a South Asian Advisory Board, which I have the pleasure of chairing. But one of our first events was a historic event, first in Suffolk County District Attorney's history. There was an iftar. And that sent a very strong message against Islamophobia, because that was held in the Suffolk County Legislative Chambers. And that was the first time, to my knowledge, that food was eaten in those legislative chambers. And it was in a fashion to ensure that our community has a space and that they are acknowledged. And so one of the more important things that I would like people to consider is, it's very important to make sure that promises are kept. Oftentimes in a political race, there are a lot of promises, but supporting individuals who have supported us and are clear in their efforts to support us is imperative.
Can I?
Absolutely.
Mr. Romaine, it's a Newsday report. I worked for Newsday for 18 years, but last week they said Steve Malone was 2 decades since he was the executive of Suffolk County. But the bad thing is, the rates, crime rate still not down, casually up, and plus the road condition, especially LIE or Southern State Parkway on southern area, it's really, really bad. There's a lot of accident because of that. So you have any plan for this?
Well, let's first talk about Newsday. I've been supervisor 5 times. Every time I've run, Newsday has endorsed me. Call me the most effective town executive in Suffolk County. Before that, I was a legislator. Every time I've run, Newsday has endorsed me. I was county clerk before that, and again, Newsday has endorsed me. Let's talk about the state roads that you mentioned. Southern State, what was the other road that you mentioned?
LIE.
LIE. These are all state roads. Thank you, Governor Hochul.
Yeah.
Okay? The problem that some people don't get with government is we have layer cake government in the United States. Local does local, county does county, state does state, federal does federal. Those are state roads. That depends on the governor and the state legislature. We can scream and holler. I can tell you I've been screaming and hollering at the MTA, the state agency, about the lack of electrification of the 3 rail lines that cross my town. None of them are electrified. They all run on diesel. No one's making the investment. The one thing that I want to raise as an issue is that we're not getting our fair share on Long Island. And understand, I'm running for county executive because I'm for Long Island first, last, and always. Give us the money that other parts of the state are getting. Electrify our rail, improve our roads. We have a debate, I don't know if anyone lives up in the Stony Brook area, but I'm trying to get the state to build a bridge as they improve 347. Build a bridge over Nichols Road, which is one of the busiest intersections in this county. I'm trying to get them to improve the Oakdale Merge, which is a mess. So we've got to get the state, we've got to raise our voice. I believe that the squeaky wheel gets the grease. As county executive, I am not going to be silent. I'm going to speak for our fair share of the infrastructure. As you know, President Biden came up with an infrastructure package of $1.1 trillion. I strongly supported the president. I'm a Republican, he's a bit Democrat, but it goes well beyond that. It goes well beyond that. It's what's right for the country. We need to rebuild our infrastructure. I supported the governor, again, someone not from my party, for the $4.1 billion environmental bond issue, because I know that we need to do things like improve our sewers and our waterways. But guess what? I run the largest town in the state by size and the second largest by population with 500,000. I haven't seen one penny of those. Someone has to be Well, pounding on the table, talking, making it known. We need our fair share on the island. Now, I know this group has ethnic concerns, but I'm talking about general concerns about where we live on this island. We need to see more of an investment in electrification of our rail, in improvement of our roadways. The money's there. And most importantly, in different areas of our county, sewers that are densely populated, that we need that because businesses can't expand, restaurants can't expand, other things can't happen until we have sewers. So I'm for sewers. I'm for using this money that they promised would be for infrastructure, for the environment, to make sure we benefit from it here in Suffolk. And that, no matter what ethnic group you represent or background you come from, I know that a rising tide lifts all boats. And I need that tide to lift for Suffolk County in terms of infrastructure and environmental improvements.
How about the crime rates? Do you have any plan?
Crime situation, yes.
So, I'm just curious, all of a sudden Newsday's claiming the crime rate is up?
Yeah.
That is unbelievable to me, because for the last 4 years they were telling us that the crime rate was the lowest it's ever been in recorded history. And I can tell you the crime rate has gone on since I've been in the DA's office. So I'm very curious to see where they get their stats from on that, number one. Number two, I think when we look at some of the issues of, specifically you're talking about roads, our laws no longer really reflect what's going on in our communities, and you correctly point out that the carnage on our roads are incredibly high. The state with great rapidity legalized marijuana almost immediately, and now when you can't ride on the LIE without smelling marijuana.
Yeah.
But yet we don't have a handheld device that could detect the level of a person's intoxication from marijuana. They're very quick to try to get those tax dollars, but not so quick to safeguard public safety. So I would say we need to come up with a way that we could detect marijuana on a roadside, similar to what you can do for alcohol. Number one, but number two, if you look at our vehicular crime and our vehicular manslaughter laws, woefully inadequate. We need tougher laws for people who are going to be impaired by any substance and go and commit carnage on our roads. And the other thing we need is we're about 60 or so detectives down in our Suffolk County Police Department. So we need more detectives because the detectives are the individuals who investigate our serious crimes in general, but in particular our vehicular crimes as well.
Jahangir Lodi, Suno TV. My question is, Pakistani community need a significant leadership in Suffolk County and Nassau County. What do you have a plan to engage the youth and Pakistani community, especially in quality worker, in construction sector or some other workplace, to endorse you in this election?
Well, let me start with the business I know, which is government. My political party has been out of power in Suffolk County for 20 years. If I win this election, I'll have 40 days to build a government. We will have people to go online to submit resumes because we need qualified people to help us run government. So let me start there, because that's the one thing I do know a little bit about. I currently run a town with a lot of people. We have 500,000 people in the town. It's 1/3 of the county's population. I'm going to need qualified people to help me run this. We're not looking at race or ethnicity or anything like that. We don't have a quota system. What we have is a merit system. And we know that a lot of immigrants have the background, the quality, and the qualifications to step up and help us run this government. We will be putting up a web page where people can submit their resumes. We'll be looking for that. I want to say that because I want to encourage people, because I don't want to be saying the day after election, what do I do now? I know what to do now. It's to get qualified people into good slots that can help us run government. What, you want to address that?
I think it was similar to the question the gentleman asked me earlier with regard to how do you can say you want to do these things, but you have to achieve it, and the way you achieve it is reaching out into the various communities, especially the South Asian community, and saying, look, these are the opportunities. Like, because a lot of the things, especially when it comes to government and jobs, people don't realize. Things like a job fair, but things like going on a website and saying, apply here, explaining what's out there and explaining the opportunity for people. I think that is really important, because oftentimes, people just don't realize that there's opportunity out there, but sometimes, and especially in the past, it's sort of, it's not advertised, so not everybody from all communities could take advantage of applying and getting these jobs.
Exactly. What was my question? That workplace and employment opportunity is not been published in different community like Pakistani or some other community. What is your plan to publish?
To do things exactly like I'm doing now, and where we meet with the press from different groups, make sure they understand, and to have a South Asian office that can help get out the word, because most of the things that we do as a county in terms of purchasing goods or services is done by contract, where we put out a contract, people bid on that contract, we tend to go with the lowest qualified bidder. It doesn't mean the lowest bidder, it means the lowest qualified bidder. And I don't think that some of the newer communities that have come into our county are fully aware of that. And that's why having an office of South Asian Affairs in the county that contractors could reach out to and say, hey, look, I have a floor cleaning business, or I have a painting business, or I have a construction business. How do I find out how I can bid on contracts? And what you do is you go out and you have seminars in different communities. This is how you bid on a county contract. This is how you find out which contracts are up. This is where you look for these things. And you know what? It's an awakening, because most people don't know it, because it's a hidden piece of information that a few people control, and that you wonder why you see the same contractors, because they have proprietary information that they don't share. I say we need to share that, because the more people we have bidding on things, the more competitive it is, the better the price the taxpayers will have to pay. And it will be better for the taxpayers, it will be better that we'll get the best work and the best contractors. Now, we have people that obviously have an inside track because they're familiar with the system. Our job is to spread the word about how the system works, so that people not currently benefiting can benefit from that. So what would we do? Well, one of our major contracting agencies in the county is the Department of Public Works. You have seminars throughout, and you meet with the media like we're meeting today, and you provide simple information like step 1, step 2, step 3. First you do this, then you do that, and you provide a step-by-step of what you have to do to get on a contract. You can get on lists, I can tell you now. If you call up our purchasing department in the town and say, please put me on the list for any type of, I'm in the concrete business. If you're doing any concrete, please put me on the list. And they're obligated to send you all the bid information.
Thank you.
I have two questions. Basically, one you answered twice, but I want to rephrase because what happened, Democrat usually they take Muslims and Pakistanis guaranteed. So last election in Nassau County, the Muslim and Pakistani were blocked for Republican, and because of Mr. Blackman promises, and he fulfilled, because we can see Muslims and Pakistani in his administration. So we also hope, because you already answered this, you're gonna take some Pakistani, especially Muslims, because there's a lot of Muslim majority in your area. The second question about, again, because Muslims and Republicans have one common thing is the family values. We can see, is America, everyone have a choice to what we have, he or she want to be. But look like far left, they're pushing agenda LGBT in schools. So what kind of your policy in schools about sex change and everything? So as a Republican,
Well, as a Republican, I believe in family values. As county executive, I don't have control over the schools. The one thing that's so interesting about America, no one really has real power. Think about that. Because although I'm county executive, I have 18 legislators that I have to deal with. And although I have county executive and county legislature, I have 69 school districts, each with their own school board that make their own policies. So I don't have direct control over the schools. But let me talk about family values and where I'm coming from. My opponent is running not only on the Democratic line, but on the working families line. You should take a look at the webpage of the working families. Some of their policies are defund the police, which I oppose, because I think we need more police. Cashless bail, which I oppose in some cases. For example, if you have a mosquito land, and I learned that from this man here, if you have a mosquito land on your arm, that mosquito weighs about 2 milligrams. 2 milligrams of fentanyl will kill you. But under the state law, you have to sell 8 ounces before you can be held on bail. 8 ounces could kill over 100,000 people?
114,000.
114,000 people. You think that law needs a change? Okay, that's working families. The next thing they believe in is reparations. I don't believe in reparations. The next thing they believe in is good cause conviction, which means you can never evict anyone from any rental unit. I don't believe in that. So there are philosophical differences between myself and my opponent. Now, if he was here, in all fairness, he would say, well, I don't believe that. And I would say, really? Then why did you take the Working Families Party line? Because either you told them a story or you're telling us a story, because it doesn't comport, doesn't equate. So I believe in family values. There is a difference there, and you can see the difference with Republicans and Democrats. And it gives you a choice. Now, unlike Europe, where there's 20 or 30 parties, we only have 2 big parties, 2 big tent parties. Now in New York, we have 2 smaller parties with them, the conservatives and the working families. I'm running as a Republican conservative. My opponent is running as a Democrat working families. There is a difference, a philosophical difference. And that's not to say he's wrong. It's just to say that I have a different point of view. And then the public has to decide which point of view they would like to see govern the future of Suffolk County. Because what this election is about, we should make no mistake about this. This election is about the future. And if you want to see some of the policies that I know members of your community object to, some of the social policies that we're seeing in this country, keep on electing the same people. But if you think we need to make a change, that's what this election's about, the future.
Do you have anything, any tourism development and opportunities for in your manifest?
In what?
Tourism development and
Yes,
and-
tourism development is crucial. We get a lot of dollars out of tourism. And one of the things that we are talking about, taking a look at, is Midway Crossing, which is across the street from Ronkonkoma Hub, which we're building here in Brookhaven, and it's on the Islip side, We're talking about moving the airport terminal from MacArthur, from where it currently is, to the north side of the airport, so it's next to the railroad, so you can take the train to the plane. And we're also talking about possibly building a convention center there. It's those type of things, and promoting tourism. Tourism brought in more dollars this past year, 2022, than any other year in the history of this county. I am a huge supporter of tourism and Discover Long Island. So all those, and there's several organizations that promote tourism throughout Long Island. And you all live here. Tell you what I'd love to do if it's a sunny day tomorrow, but I can't because I'm campaigning. I'd love to take my wife out. I'd like to stop at some of the wineries. I'd maybe like to stop to have a nice dinner at a good restaurant, particularly as I drive out east. We have a wonderful county here. It's very diverse. You go out, you see the farmland in the North Fork. And it's you see the beaches. You see some of the wonderful things that we have to offer in this. So tourism is crucial to our future, and I'm going to do everything I can to promote it. Yes.
Sir, there's a real Muslim people problem, especially in Nassau and Suffolk. My paper covered every Thursday 21, 22 mosque, and every mosque try to stay balloon for graveyard. But like ICLI, they got 500 graveyard in Suffolk, exit 69 hardly, and 62 almost done, and they're not extending. We have a problem, but everyone like you came and say, yes, we will take care of that. So do you have any plan
Yes.
to solve our problem? This is the biggest problem.
Yes.
Almost, because
First of all, I have
everyone
9 mosques
we
in my
die.
town. I have
And-
9 mosques in my town.
Yes.
More than 25 years ago, my first wife died. 13 years ago, my son died. They're buried in a local cemetery in Mount Pleasant, in Santa Mauritius. And I can visit their graves. And my mother and my father and my sister-in-law, they're all there. And one day I'll be there. Everyone should have the right to bury their dead so that they can visit them and remember them, pray for them. We are working a little further east of me in East Mauritius.
Good.
There is an airport that was not zoned for airports. Spadero Airport. It's a dirt field. It's flat. It has some buildings that have to be knocked down. We will rezone that for cemeteries, for a Muslim cemetery. And what people don't understand about the Muslim faith, you don't embalm. And a cemetery, how much traffic does a cemetery create? How much noise does a cemetery create? But what it does create is a place where we can visit our dead, pay our respects, say our prayers, and remember their lives on this earth, knowing that one day we will be with them. That's the promise of all of our faiths, Christian, Jewish, Muslim, that one day we will be reunited with those who passed. So yes, having a cemetery to bury your loved ones is crucial. We are working with people because we can't get involved as a government. Government can't run cemeteries. Working with private individuals to turn Spadero Airport in East Mauritius on the north side of Montauk Highway into a Muslim cemetery, so no one has to go to New Jersey to bury their dead or to pay visits to their dead. That I understand more than anyone else.
Very good.
So, Ed, what is your message for the community at this point of the race? Anything special you want to say why they should elect you compared to David?
Well, this is a competitive election. I'd urge them to look beyond, because my opponent has decided to just go negative, because he is not well known. I've been in office for 38 years. Look beyond that. Listen instead to the candidates themselves as they speak. Everyone brings different qualifications and backgrounds to the race when they run for public office. The thing that's different here is I have a proven record. Brookhaven Town is a AAA bond rated town. Brookhaven Town has structurally balanced budgets. The state controller each year tests every community, villages, towns, counties, for fiscal stress and for environmental stress on a scale of 0 to 100. 0 meaning you have no stress, and 100 meaning you have a lot of stress. Brookhaven Town has 0 fiscal stress, according to the state controller, not of my party, but a fair man, and 0 environmental stress. You don't achieve things like that from the state controller. You don't achieve a AAA bond rating from the rating agencies in Wall Street unless you're doing something right. So people can say all they would like to say. And why do I talk about the finances? Because all issues of government are issues of money. And if you can manage your money and you can do it right, you can do a lot more. Talk about computer systems. As you know, the county had to shut down, and part of it's still shut down because of the hack that happened over a year ago. Well, Brookhaven Town has cybersecurity insurance, and the county does not, and was rejected for it. Brookhaven Town has their data center in the cloud. None of the county data centers are in the cloud. Brookhaven Town does periodic tests of its penetration tests of its computer systems to discover all weaknesses and shut our back doors. The county has not done that. You think that's going to change when I get there? I can guarantee you that will change. You lead by doing the best practices that are done throughout municipalities in the United States.
How is the campaign looking in terms of your own view?
I think the campaign is going good. I mean, at the end of the day, I'll know. One of two things are going to happen on November 7th. I'm either going to win or I'm going to lose. I'm hoping I'm winning. But, you know, as I said, I've been in office for 38 years. The one thing that happens if I win, I won't have to say, what do I do now? And I won't have to ask for a roadmap to the men's room. I'll know where it is, and I'll know what to do. And I'm not so sure my opponent can say that, because he has no elective experience in his background. This is the biggest job in this county. We employ over 10,000 people. Good luck, is what I would say to him if he was elected, because I think he'll need every ounce of luck. I'm going to need the same thing. The only difference is I come with the background of running large towns, handling large budgets, being able to be competent, being always endorsed by Newsday. I don't know what they'll do in this election, but I will tell you, for supervisor, legislator, county clerk, I've been endorsed by Newsday. And Newsday has called me the most effective town executive on Long Island. Now, whether they'll go with me this time or not, I don't know. That's their choice. But I'm ready. I hope I get a chance to run this county, but it will be up to the people to decide. We're trying to get as much of my message out there as possible, which is one of the reasons we're meeting today. But it will be up to all the communities that make up Suffolk County, and most particularly the South Asian community, which this gentleman clearly pointed out. I know Bruce Blakeman for many years. He's a good friend. They made a huge difference. Everyone, and I mean everyone, expected his opponent to win that election. And I know her, and she's a nice lady, and I thought she did an okay job. But this community, your community, came out and supported Bruce, and Bruce won that election. I will tell you this. If I'm county executive, I'm getting in my car, and I'm going to go visit my old friend Bruce Blakeman, and we're going to sit down and come up with an agenda for Long Island as a whole, not just Suffolk, but Nassau and Suffolk. We're going to look to promote our island and the people in it and the various communities in it. And we're not going to want to leave anyone behind. And those who helped elect us, those who stood with us when we needed them to, we're not forgetting them.
Mr. Ed, my question is, Pakistani community has a representative with you. It's a young guy, Ali.
Yeah.
How lucky you are that Mr. Ali is with you, and you can have a good relation with Pakistani community and Mr. Ali.
It's not that we're young.
We're going to have a good relationship with the Pakistani community and the other communities that are here.
No, support you.
We want them to be part of our community. We want them to be part of us. We want you to feel that even though you came from somewhere else, either you or your father before you or your grandfather before you, that you're here, this is your home. We want you to be home. Welcome home. Come, work with us, help us build a better island, help us do the things that make our society safe, affordable, and a good place to live.
Sir,
And
Mother
even
just
in New York,
mentioned-
we are coming different places, 60-mile drive, 50-mile drive, because of
Right.
Asif, Mr. Asif, and
Just,
Thank
just
you.
sports,
Mohsin Bhai, I
sports
think Mohsin Bhai
question.
has a question. He's been
Just
patiently
a
waiting.
sports question. You
Last
just
one.
mentioned Bruce Blackman.
Yes.
He is doing great job for South Asian community. He's starting a big cricket stadium. Do you have a space for us?
Absolutely. We have lots of spaces in Brookhaven town. We have a wonderful park that's undeveloped, that's 99 acres in Shirley, that we would love to have a cricket stadium because we know, look, when I was a kid, we played baseball.
Yes.
When my kids were kids, and they're much older than I did, my son has passed, but when he was a kid, he played soccer. Now people want to play cricket. Why not? Sports are great. They motivate you. You get agitated. You yell and you shout and you urge your team on to victory. I love to see cricket. Look, we have the perfect place for it in Brookhaven. It's a park in Shirley, 99 acres. We got it from a developer. We need to put things there. A cricket stadium would work out great. I know we also are looking at the old airport, Dowling Airport, to build an ice skating rink. Now, I don't know if any Pakistanis ice skate, but what we're trying to do is provide enough sports activity for our young. Keep them out of trouble, give them things to do. Sports is a wonderful way to do that. Ray just came back from his son's football game.
American football.
So,
Not soccer.
at least with the cricket industry, we got the attention of Bangladeshi community, Pakistani community, West Indian community, and Sri Lankan community. So
Yeah.
1.5 billion people, they watch cricket.
Absolutely. It's one of the largest sports. It's
world.
look, as I said, when I was a kid, we were playing baseball. When my kids were kids, they were playing soccer.
Yeah.
Now, if you asked about soccer in the 1950s, when I grew up, it's like, what? But look how popular it's become. Watch how popular cricket becomes on Long Island.
Yeah.
So, I look at Bruce. There's some things that he's doing that I would do. Some things he's doing that I would not do. One of the things I would not do, I'm not putting my name on any signs. I don't put my name on any signs in Brookhaven.
Last question.
Yes.
So, Mr. Ramesh, I have two quick questions. Do you have any idea how many South Asian residents and voters are based in Suffolk County?
Total?
Yes.
We have 1.5 million people here. I wish everyone who was eligible to vote would vote, but that's not the case. Believe it or not, despite the fact we're a democracy, there's a lot of people that don't exercise their right to vote. But I fully expect somewhere between 350 and 450,000 people will come out and vote this November. And there's a lot of ways to vote. You can vote by early voting, which is 10 days before, and you can go online and they'll tell you all the voting sites, or you can vote election day at your polling place, or if you're going to be out of town or sick or something, you can vote by absentee. So there's a lot of ways to vote. I would encourage everyone to get out and vote. I want to see as many people as possible come out to vote, because then whoever is elected is truly representative of the majority. And, you know, I believe in democracy. And whether I win or lose, what's important is that we have a leader that people support and everyone gets a chance to vote for or against, for this guy or for that guy. That's important.
One more question. In the beginning, you talk about affordability. That means lowering the taxes. So lowering the taxes is a very attractive election slogan. Can you share some details how and how much taxes you are going to decrease if you get elected?
Well, first of all, the county taxes, the real estate property tax for the county is extremely low, and that's why it doesn't increase. Because with the county, you have the real estate tax for the county general, but then you have the police tax, because the police district is separate. Because Suffolk County Police does not represent the entire county. Okay? Suffolk County Police only is active in the 5 western towns. The 5 eastern towns, each of those towns have their own police, believe it or not. And then there are 9 villages, 5 on the east end and 4 on the west end, that have their own police department. So the police district tax is separate from the county tax, okay? The one tax I would look at, because when you look at taxes, and we all know the power to tax is the power to destroy. We all know that. You have to be careful what you tax and how you tax. If there was one thing I could afford to do, and I have to get there to figure out if I can afford to do it, it is the most regressive tax that falls heaviest on the poor. We tax home heating fuel. We tax your electric bill. We tax your gas. Very few counties do that, but Suffolk does that. That's the tax I would look, if I could afford to do it, to get rid of, because it's a regressive tax that falls heaviest on the poor. Hey, if you're wealthy, a few extra bucks on your fuel tax, because it's 2.5% on your fuel. And I don't know about you, but fuel is very expensive these days. I just got a contract for fuel because I don't want the thing to break down in the middle of the night and no one come to fix it. But it's $4.49 a gallon. Okay, that's with the contract, maybe less on the spot market. We tax your gas and we tax your electric. Look at your light bill the next time you get it from PSE&G. You'll see the tax on there. If there's one tax that I want to get rid of, it's that tax. Most counties don't tax that because it's considered essential, just like they don't tax groceries. They'll tax toothpaste, but not groceries. Not if you buy an apple, you get a tax. So I don't want to tax essentials, particularly because those type of taxes are regressive. They fall heaviest on those who can least afford it.
Other than like press conference and meetings and no door knocking, do you have any plan to run your campaign in Pakistani media?
Absolutely, yes. Here's the man behind me, Brendan. I'm gonna point him out. That poor guy is working on the campaign.
One more question. The Raja Hassan is doing a great job for community. So we see you everywhere on the front line in community events. So what message you wanna give to the community for Romaine election?
So I want to give a message that encompasses many of the questions that were asked here this evening. We asked about taxes, we asked about schools, we asked about our quality of life, safety, and I want to give an example. An example, a year and a half ago, I asked the community for support. 70% of our school taxes go towards our district. Our district is the Brentwood School District, and it's the largest in Long Island in Suffolk County.
It is the largest of the 69. Tell them about the food.
With the blessing of people in this room, the community at large, because the message was the quality of the education and to ensure, as Ed Romaine is, that all parties will have a voice, all stakeholders will be represented. I was able to get elected to that position. But because of the vote, because of the support, because of the ability to have a seat at the table, we will be able to bring halal food to fruition within 45 days of being elected. You cannot put a price on being involved in the political process. We are good Americans, we are law-abiding citizens, we are hardworking. And it's time that we take our community from this inflection point to the next level, where we engage in the political process, we listen to the issues at hand, we make a decision on who we feel will provide us with the solutions, and we vote. Because when we vote, we have an acknowledgement and potentially a seat at the table with an Office of Asian American Affairs, which can help our small businesses as they grow, which can help our immigrant community with issues they may have, advocacy in offices like our District Attorney's office. So I ask our entire community to please take voting seriously. Vote on November 7th. If you cannot get there on November 7th, avail your right to your absentee ballot. We can assist if you will not be there on November 7th, so that you can be part of the process and ensure that you are part of tomorrow's success, not only for our current community, but for our future. That's why I do what I do, to ensure that our future generation has a space, and I'm very proud to be sitting here because I fully believe that on November 7th, we will be able to elect Ed Romaine as our next county executive, and that the promises made will be fulfilled. And inshallah, we will have the ability to be involved in the future of our community in Suffolk County. Thank you.
Thank you.
Don't forget to like, comment and subscribe.